Yeah, go ahead and talk.
I coached Josh and Kyle and Joe and a bunch of them when I coached youth wrestling. They were really some good kids.
Yeah. It was almost kind of a next generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was Jiggs's son and guys that were the next generation under.
Right.
Had that wrestling in their blood, kind of.
Yeah, Kyle's very, very good. Unfortunately, Chris was good too.
I was going to ask. I didn't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris was good, but he chose a different route, I guess.
Sure.
I mean, he just. I don't know. I how to explain it. He just was really, really good, and he just didn't give it the beans.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're here with Dan O'Connell.
Back with Dan O'Connell.
And we wanted to talk a little bit about Mazo Mustangs baseball. You know, Hudson plays, and Drew and Joe and Deshaun now, and John helps a little bit. But it kind of surrounds you a little bit. I mean, you're a little bit Mazo Mustangs baseball. Do you know when Mazo started a home talent team? Was that before you were born, or have they kind of gone in and out?
Well, I don't know what they used to call it. I know back in the day, I know that they had baseball for a long, long time, you know, CYO, and they had a home talent league and stuff. I know my dad played in the home talent league, and
he did. Okay.
Back in the day, and they had really, really good teams. A lot of local people so I don't know when it was started. I know that it went. We started again a team up in '94. So I don't know if Dave Royston, if Roundy, if it was the one that brought it back originally in the early '70s, because I know they had a team in the early '70s. I started playing for Black Earth in 1974 after I graduated from high school, and I know Mazo had a team at that time, so I don't know how long they had been in the league before that. But they had a nice team, a real good group of guys. And talking about Mazo home talent, I'll tell you what, I was managing. I played for Black Earth from '74 to '88. I managed from Black Earth from 88 to '93, and then the reason that I felt Mazo needed a team is that at that time, Heights had won a state championship. We had all kinds of great players. We had really good players before the high school kids came, and there was just so much. There was so many. You know, we had 23, 24 guys on our roster.
Wow.
And that was
Black Earth.
That was players, yes.
Yeah.
And it was so. You know, I was over the last couple of years. I got thinking, geez, so many times. And then you go to the ballpark, and a bunch of the Legion players, Eric Amble, and some guys were coming down, and they were, you know, looking at saying, "Boy, where's maybe Eric ever going to play with all the guys we have here?" And so I was in the back of my mind, and then I just decided that, you know, I'd left Black Earth, and they had a plethora of some fantastic ball players over there. It was pretty hard to leave, but I knew there was too many kids not going to have the opportunity not to play ball. And so that is why I left Black Earth. I knew there was going to be more kids that needed to play ball.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that you were there that long.
Yeah.
Both player and coach. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And it was CYO. I mean, I remember being a kid. I never played CYO, and I never played Legion. Were both those kind of after high school teams?
Yeah.
So they were maybe an in-between kind of getting up to home talent, or were they just...
they were just teams. I mean, you could played home talent ball and played Legion ball too.
Oh, you could? Okay.
There's just a lot of kids in Legion ball are playing Legion ball. They're usually juniors and seniors or whatever, but a lot of them decided to play Legion instead of home talent, or you could have played both.
Okay.
At the time, but we just they had a nice Legion team over there, and there's just it was just too many people to have on a team. It's you can't. It's impossible to coach when you got 22, 23 kids, young men.
Yeah.
And then like the other thing is you can't keep everybody happy. So I think it dwindled down probably to 19 or so. I'd have a uniform in my car about every other week, and without an explanation. But it wasn't anything you were trying to do. It's just you can't keep everybody happy with that many people.
Yeah. And
that was kind of again my thought process was, where are these other kids going to grow when they graduate the following year and the following year, and so make a decision to come down and start a team in Mazo and was going to happen. We had been talking about it behind the scenes and had some good people, Dale Hoggy and Donnie Reeve and Dennis Meyer, and we just got it going, and it's
what year was that again that you started it?
94.
94.
Yeah.
So it's almost been 30. It's been 28 years, right?
Yeah.
And so that's probably been that is probably the longest lasting Mazo run.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Yeah, I would say so. Absolutely.
And some of those names are people that are still involved.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's quite a commitment to baseball.
Dennis and Julie and Mort and we've lost a lot of them along the way, but for several reasons, but they've hung in there and done a really good job.
Who were some of the names on those first couple of years teams? Can you remember some of the people? Because a lot of people watch this, and a lot of local people, they'll probably recognize some of the names. Do you remember some of the first guys you had on those teams?
Boy, I tell you, it was really a mixture. Because we had to do about everything to get enough players initially. I mean, it was pretty tough. Boy, I'd have to go back. But Teddy played for us. He played for Black Earth and went back and forth a couple times. But let's see. We'll score Scott Hoggy and Gary Dino and Troy Hoggy and let's see. Jeepers, having a little brain fog here. I thought I was on a roller when I started naming those guys. But that was
a long time ago now.
Yeah.
A lot of
but
years
I got a
have
pretty
gone
good
by.
memory. I can remember in high school wrestling. Why can't I remember a lot of the players? But we started out. It was tough right away to get the players, and again, Black Earth had such a nice team at the time. It was pretty hard. I remember the first game that we played them. First year we were going to play them down in Mazo. It was a Sunday game, and we went down. We must have had 15 people down working in the field. We had her shined. We had to put a fence up, a plastic fence up, and we mowed the grass, and everybody was proud. And we went down and have a couple pops or beers or whatever down at the local establishment, and I think we got 4 inches of snow that night. So for whatever reason, we thought, boy, we got to play this game. We got to play this game. So then we went out to the high school. And unfortunately or fortunately, we got the field ready and played the game out there. And I believe they beat us 10-0. But
did they have the same? It doesn't sound like they had the same rules that they do now with home talent, where you had to wait a couple years to get in to Sunday League, or was that still the same?
No, it kind of was. I think because of I'm bragging by any means, but who I was and stuff, and they wanted and what I had done and stuff. It was a little bit easier for them. The biggest fear that they're worried about is prove that you're going to be financially stable.
Okay.
And we had we had a fundraiser, and I believe we had a pig roast or whatever, and Kentner did our pig roast for us, and so we had money, but it was they were really good about letting us in right away. But now it's they wanted you to kind of come in for a year, maybe play night league or something like Arena did this last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can prove financially that you're going to have the monies and funds in the field, and they're pretty good about letting people in.
Okay.
Did you play for Mazo?
I did 1 year.
Were you a player coach?
I did one. No, I didn't coach in Mazo at the time. I was playing for Black Earth, then I jumped ship and went over and played for Mazo, and then went back to Black Earth.
Oh boy.
But yeah, that wasn't. But yeah, I did play for Mazo for 1 year.
Okay, so you just managed when you came over to start,
Yes.
restart, if you
Yes.
will, in '94.
Yep.
Okay, and so you've had, I mean, Scott Hauge cut a pretty wide swath as far as baseball
Oh
player.
yeah, Scott played a lot of ball,
Yeah.
a lot of years, and then well, we had I was just trying to think. Some Dasher boys played for us a few years. I mean, we had quite a few different ball players. Some stayed longer than others.
Yeah.
Scott Dewar, did he play?
Scott Dewar and Scott Mickelson come over the same year and played for us for a little bit.
Nice.
And yeah, a lot of fun to have on the team. Scott was a heck of a ball player. They're both good ball players. Just Scott Mickelson was, was a local guy and played a lot of good high school baseball.
Yeah.
John Adair was a great player.
John Adair
won
was
the
a real
batting
good player.
title multiple times. Did he play shortstop for you guys?
Played shortstop, yep.
Okay.
He was a real good
Yeah.
shortstop. Yeah, John won the batting title of the Sunday League and the Thursday League, which was a big deal back then. And I know he batted up over 500 in both Sundays and Thursdays. And
Wow.
And he was a real good ball player. He's from Sauk, and we had quite a few guys come over, down from Sauk. A good friend of mine, Gary Ball, managed Sauk for years, and he just felt that them guys needed to play, which was very nice of him.
Yeah.
Not many people do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Clint was part of that probably too, right?
yeah,
Clint
Clint
Williams.
Clint played for us for a lot of years, and Clint had talked to Scott Hauge after a ball game one time and said he'd really be interested in coming down, and I think they met over in Black Earth, and he wanted to know if Scott didn't have any doubt about it, but Clint wanted to know, hey, would your coach
Yeah.
want to mind if I come down and play? I said, I'll take him in a minute. But Scott did the recruiting there.
Sure.
And but yeah, Clint was a heck of a good ball player and a lot of fun, good team player.
The COVID year, of course, there was a canceled season for Mazo, but was there any other year from '94 till now, 2022? Was there ever a year that there wasn't a team?
No.
Okay, so you always had a continuous
Yep.
team.
Yep.
Was there any, issues? Did you always have a full roster, or was there sometimes where?
Sometimes we lost quite a few players that good players that went elsewhere. I mean, and maybe to another team. Not a lot. I mean, if anybody went to another, the only ones I ever remember going to another team or something. I mean, they go to Black Earth, but I don't remember really going to Sauk or Baraboo or any place else. So it's we really didn't have. I mean, we always were able to field a team.
Mm-hmm.
It just some years were thinner than you'd like.
Yeah. Have things changed? I mean, like back in the day, they still were able to use aluminum bats,
Right.
right?
That's
That's scary to think about that.
Yeah.
Grown men
Swinging
hitting those
metal bats.
Yeah, it really there's some real zingers.
Some
that,
hot shots at third, especially and stuff. Huh?
Yeah, there are a lot of balls that left the yard that in a quick hurry too. Yeah, I don't know I don't know how they do it in college ball. Anyway, I just don't
I don't
understand
understand that either.
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense to me because you go on if you get drafted or whatever, then you're going from aluminum to wood. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It's got to be the expense. It's the only thing I can think of.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I can think
Yeah, I
it
didn't
could
think about
possibly
that.
be.
Yeah.
Because how many wood bats in the college season would you break?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would think it'd be quite a few, but that's got to be the only. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. I sit there and watch the College World Series and college baseball, thinking, but they've toned the bats down too.
I was gonna say that. The
You
bats
know,
these days, I don't think are as
the aluminum bats, they've really adjusted them. I mean, because back in the day, they were aluminum. You could really
lightning and thunder.
you could really hit some balls out of the park back then. Or really, it was really. I wouldn't want to be on third baseman or shortstop back in the day.
Are there any other changes from back then? I mean, they could be like actual, rules or physical things, or any changes as far as just like socially. I mean, were the games more well attended when there wasn't, do you remember when you were playing, the games were very well attended? Now people seem to have so much to do. They're not as well attended, or are they kind of consistent as your memory serves you?
Well, I'll go back to Black Earth. I mean, it was, and then I'll come back to Mazo, but I mean, we've always had good following. Black Earth had real good following. You made it to the Final Four a couple times, and of course, Black Earth won it in '68 and won it in '74, the Final Four. And then when I was managing, we made it a couple of Final Fours, and at that time you had to park in Mazo to get to Black Earth. It was just, I mean, it was just a really good time. And then coming over, there was a lot of people that we had real good following when we started up, real good following, down here in Mazo. And I think it's always been pretty solid. People get older and just do different things and stuff, and I guess there's so many things to do now for younger people.
Yeah.
Boating, fishing, and not that you couldn't have done it back in the day, but when baseball was supposed to be more important, but it's like it is for some guys, and that's very much appreciated. But it's just I still think we have a nice group of people that follow us here in Mazo, and it's pretty consistent. But again, older people get older and have other things to do too sometimes.
Yeah, health issues and all sorts of stuff. I mean, I think it was several years ago when you were toying with no longer managing that you talked about, basically you could never, with working all the time that you did during the week, and then all of the responsibilities for the Mustangs, you didn't take summer vacations.
I forgot I did leave one year while I was here because I had an altercation with one of my players up at Sauk City, and so I had to relieve myself a year from I don't remember what year that was, and I don't care, but one of our players come to the game inebriated, and we had some words, and he said some things I didn't like, and he said it back, and I happened to grab a hold of him by the neck a little bit, and then I got a bunch of mail from the sheriff's department. So
tough.
That had to go to court, and so I just
stepped away for a year.
Stepped away for a year.
You didn't paint Velasquez's face from the state tournament, did you?
No.
Start wrestling?
No, I didn't. Actually, I thought it was a joke because I thought it was awful hateful that he'd come to a game playing sock up there, and it was a big game.
Yeah.
I choose not to.
I get it.
I guess I expressed my opinion to him.
Yeah.
So, but, anyway.
Well, any other thoughts? I mean, you guys have any other questions about the Mustang aspect, or just anything that comes to mind, Dan, that you?
No, I just it's enjoyable to see, sit back and watch, and not manage now, and watch the young men play, and it's exciting. It's got a great team, and they're very consistent, and they're going to continue winning, and I hope other young men join the troops, and we get more people. Down the road, I hope this thing keeps going. Is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because it's really a great sport. That's one other reason I took a shine to baseball over wrestling, because I don't know of any baseball players that don't eat very well. I mean, they usually can eat 3 meals a day, and that's honest to God truth. I mean, when I was in college, I was playing hometown baseball. I got thinking, you know what? It's a lot more fun than wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's God's truth.
Yeah.
I just says, boy, I can eat all I want and have as much fun.
When Babe Ruth is one of the poster boys for, you can eat a little more if you want.
Yeah, he didn't starve himself to death.
No. Well, so changing gears for just a few minutes here, you worked for Cleary Building for 40 years, was it?
40 it would then 40 and a half. And so
40 and a half.
Yep, I retired in April, and then in September would have been 41 years. And so
Just this last, no,
2 years ago.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
April. And what was can you just give us a real quick highlight of what were your responsibilities at Cleary? Like you ended being what? What
well,
were you
I managed a cruise and did the hiring for the field and
Okay.
and out of Verona and helped out a little bit, the production end of it.
Yeah.
So.
You didn't start doing that though.
Oh,
Did
I
you
worked in
start on the cruises?
transportation. I
Okay.
ran was a transportation coordinator, and I did a little bit of
Okay.
quite a few involving transportation and production.
Okay. And then, you live just a few doors down from our house and right next to the boys. I mean, the boys live in your mother's house.
Right.
And I guess I was just curious if you could you were having some, you had neck injury and problems, and you had surgery, and you were having dizzy spells and things like that. Didn't you fall, like when you were walking?
My neck or my heart?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're connected. I was just trying to get into talking a little bit about your health situation, and then talk about what's happened since.
Yeah, in 2018, I had neck surgery, and I was very close to being paralyzed. I had no feeling from my neck down. Doesn't make any sense. I could move my hands,
Mm-hmm.
and I went on Friday and ended up having surgery on Saturday, and it was the doctor said I went down to the ball field, and we had a game the next day, and he said if I would throw in a 50 bag of lime over my shoulder, that I'd have probably been paralyzed from the neck down.
Wow.
So they caught it at the right time. I mean, it just came on so quick, and my spinal cord was just about severed. My vertebrae shifted so bad that it was. I didn't have time to think about it, so I didn't even really have time to get scared, because I went in Friday. My wife and my daughter left the hospital at like midnight that night, and I went to my room, and I was operated on the next morning at 6:00 on Saturday. So, and then. But then I was walking down the road this last winter, and that all came good. My neck came good, and I fell and slipped 2 doors down from your house here, and on the ice against the curb, and I hit my head, and it kind of brought back old memories.
Oh.
But I I was having a lot of problems with my lower back and my neck again. But I got a shot in my neck, and they were going to be giving me 2 shots in my lower back here in September, but I just said, heck with them guys, I'll have heart surgery instead. So,
but we've got a few minutes here. But just tell us. I mean, you were having problems like even walking a block, right?
Right.
And you couldn't figure out exactly what it was.
Yeah, it was after I fell. It was December 29th. I remember the date. I went down and helped them plow snow down the village, and I got back home, took the dog for a walk, and in between the road and the curb, there was snow on the ice, and it was just, my feet went up underneath me, and I actually walked about a half a block, and I had my glasses on, didn't realize that, gosh, I can't see very good. I'm talking to the dog, by the way, because the dog's the only one with me. So I got thinking, boy, so I was going to adjust my glasses, and I said, boy, my glasses aren't on, so I come back a half a block. My glasses were laying outside the curb, and then I went home, and I was a little dizzy, and I remember my head bouncing. I mean, it actually bounced off the ice, and so I was having quite a few problems with that for quite a while. And then as I was walking, a little bit, and I was getting shortness of breath and whatnot, and that went on from about that time. And then I guess it was week after week, if I'd go for a walk or whatever, and I'd get about the same distance almost every time, and it'd be the same issue. I'd get home and tell my wife, do we have antacid pills?
Yeah.
And I'd take an antacid or Pepto-Bismol or something, and then it'd go away. And so I thought I really had it figured out. So I thought I'd really be smart, and I'd take the antacid before I went for a walk, or the Pepto-Bismol. I'd take it before I go for a walk. Well, by golly, I went and I got the same distance again, and I said, well, that didn't work. And the last time I actually got around the block over here, and I got by Jerry Reed's place, and I had to sit down on the grass because I don't know. And then I wanted to lay down, and it was raining out, and I had the dog again. So I guess she dragged me home. She's a 7-pound schnauzer. So. But now I got home, and I told my wife I got to call the doctor. And then it went through the process of going through a stress test, which I lasted 4 minutes on. I thought it was 11 minutes, it was 4 minutes. And then I went to see the cardiologist specialist at UW, and he lined me up with some other doctors, and they took a look at me, and they said, you need to have surgery. And I had surgery, and they had my coronary artery is 95% blocked. Wow. And he told me that I was running on fumes. And so very lucky to be able to get in, and fortunate to be able to get in. But I had, other people don't experience, some aren't lucky enough to experience the episodes that I went through and make it through, because I at least had probably 30 episodes.
Wow.
At different times. And so I was probably pretty darn lucky.
Very fortunate, yeah. Well, this has been our pleasure. We really do. We really appreciate you taking the time, talking us through the wrestling, talking us through the Mustangs, and then giving us a little health update. So thank you for taking the time, all the stuff you've done for Mazo and the Mustangs. I don't know if you guys have anything.
Yeah, thanks for all the keeping it around and stuff like that.
It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be able to have good neighbors, that's for sure. And no, I enjoy what I do, and enjoy being on the earth, I guess. So
yeah. And so this is a coupon. We haven't done this for a while because we haven't had a guest. This is a coupon to the original Father-Son voiceover podcast.
Oh,
prize table. So
Yeah.
you can take one or two of those. We don't want to do anything bad for your heart.
No.
So you can take something. There's like some cards or pens or something you can take home for a t-shirt or something. So
it's a Wick t-shirt.
You can take it's a Wick t-shirt.
Oh,
Sorry.
whoops, can't do that.
Yeah.
Tom Wick and Jim Wick, every year on my birthday, I'd go to my mailbox and I'd have a t-shirt, a hat, a Wick t-shirt, a hat, apron, a cooking apron would be hanging on top of the mailbox, and they were really good sports.
Well, we'll let you pick something, and then we always get a picture. But thank you very much.
Thank you guys.